Hello, everyone, and welcome to Texas Business School's webinar, Creating a Starts with. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Texas Business School's webinar, AI Revolution, Creating a Smart Future with AI. My name is Courage Maris Emmanuel, your student service representative, and we are thrilled to have you join us as we explore how artificial intelligence is shaping the future of business. Today, our experts will dive into the ways AI can drive innovation, enhance decision-making, and unlock new opportunities for a smarter future. We encourage you to engage, ask questions, and think about how AI would impact your journey towards a smart, future-ready career. Thank you for being here. So let's get started. We have our schedule for today. As we can all see, we are not going to be taking much of your time. So we're going to introduce our first guest speaker, the second, and then we have our Q&A session. Texas Business School is dedicated to empowering future leaders through technology-focused education. We provide industry-level training in areas like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and SAP, combining business theory with hands-on software applications and vendor certifications. Our mission is to equip individuals with the skills needed to thrive in today's tech-driven world, whether they're advancing their careers or entering the industry. With flexible online courses, expert faculties, and a commitment to innovation and leadership, we prepare students to make a lasting impact across industries. So let us welcome our first guest speaker. Dr. Michael Onwuora is a distinguished data engineer, AI specialist, and expert in AI ethics. With over 20 years of experience in IT, database engineering, and data management. His expertise spans building scalable AI systems, creating generative AI models, and implementing ethical AI practices. He has led key AI projects in finance, education, and healthcare, and is also known for his ability to communicate complex AI concepts to diverse audiences. Dr. Onwuora is also a respected educator and keynote speaker, contributing significantly to AI education and research. And he will be presenting live from Canada.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Am I able to share? Have I been given permission to share my screen? Sorry, I'm just trying to bring up.
Yes, sir, you can share, sir.
Okay. So while I'm waiting for my screen to come up, it's a pleasure to be in your midst. I would be speaking on starting your AI journey. And a few things about me. I have a passion, not just for speaking about AI, but also teaching and solving problems. And I'm hoping that at the end of this session, we would be able to go from knowing or hearing about what you think AI is to a point where you now have a better answer or clarity to what you need to know about artificial intelligence. So the goal of this presentation or today's session is to provide a roadmap that helps you to understand the AI landscape, as well as to also bring you to a point where you're able to understand the skill sets that is required and the strategies that you need to build a successful and sustainable AI career. And I would love to begin by asking a few set of questions. These are the questions that I usually get when I get into numerous AI sessions. I think the first one that typically comes is, how much money can I make if I possess or if I have AI skills? And I typically always say, when those questions come to me, I always say that it depends on what your capability is in the AI space, right? I'm not going to throw out a lot of numbers here, but I would say that with a career in AI, you have the potential to go from 0 to 6 figures, right? And the next question that typically often comes is, what are the best ways to create passive income with AI? How am I able to create an AI product or an AI service that even while I sleep makes money for me? This is one question that typically also comes when I go into AI forums. We're probably not going to be able to answer all of those questions today. However, we will begin that conversation. And then the next one would be, how can AI solve global impact problems? I've been in a series of conversations with government, with private sector organizations about how to use AI to solve a problem. Matter of fact, I'm currently working on an AI product that can help school systems to be able to develop curriculum. Sorry, just give me a minute. Let me close the door. Just want to make sure not all that noise doesn't get into the recording. Okay, so I was speaking to global problems. So there's a lot of, let me use the word, hard or difficult problems in the world today that exist in healthcare, in the climate sector, as well as the education sector. So those are some areas that AI can solve some problems, right? What industries are investing in AI? It's important we ask those questions, because those questions will help us to know where our skill sets and energy should be channeled to. And I think the last one will be, how can I build and scale an AI product? Today, everyone's talking about ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is just one application of the numerous AI applications that exist today. So I'm hoping that at the end of this session, our goal would be to demystify artificial intelligence to a point that everyone's able to start a conversation around AI, know what skill sets they need to develop, and maybe make a decision whether to join the Texas Business School AI programs. I'd love to introduce artificial intelligence by asking everyone who is here seated to take the word and break it into two parts, right? So we would probably start by defining what artificial is. Artificial is something that is man-made, right? It didn't just drop from the sky. It's man-made, but the goal is to build intelligence. Now, let's imagine that I like to use maybe name of anyone in any of the participants that's here. Let's say Emmanuel. Let's say Emmanuel decides that he wants to build something, an AI chatbot that is more intelligent that is more intelligent than Iron Man's Jarvis, or is even more intelligent than ChatGPT. Now, in order for Emmanuel to do that, Emmanuel has to first of all determine where he's going to get all the data that it will feed that chatbot. Now, when he gets all of that data, he then needs to input that data into the AI chatbot, right? So first off, Emmanuel has to build it, so it's man-made. And that's why it's called artificial, right? Now, the system becomes intelligent based on the data that Emmanuel pumps into that AI system. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, all we're basically saying is we build a computer system or a computer algorithm. You can give it any name you want to. You can call it a computer system. You can call it a software program. You can call it a bot. You build a system, but that system collects data and uses that data to make not just any kind of decision, but insightful decisions. Now, how do we apply AI in healthcare? I used to work with a company called IBM. They built a product called Watson. Watson was used in the healthcare sector to analyze all the cancer types that exist in the world today. Now, think about it this way. You walk into a clinic and they take your blood work and they throw your blood work into Watson, and Watson tells that individual, oh, you have the following type of cancer. And we're able to ascertain this or get to this level of information because we've seen certain hematologic reports that points to the fact that this is the kind of cancer this individual has. So that's the application of AI. The system becomes intelligent because you've passed in data into it. Now let's speak to finance. In the past few months, I've been on a program. I'm currently undertaking a master's in financial engineering, and I'm in the process of building models. Now, I build machine learning models, right? That is able to analyze trading data that can tell you what stock will make more money in the next years to come. So that's the thinking. You need to start to think along those lines of, along those thought lines, right? How can I use AI to make decisions in finance? Now, in manufacturing, how can you use AI to improve the manufacturing sector? I know that Amazon uses robots to distribute parcels. Now, imagine, think out loud about an organization as big as Amazon. They receive over maybe 130,000. This is maybe over a million parcels every day. And they have to sort 1 million parcels. How many employees do you think that organization is going to need? But with a bot that is able to package and distinguish different packages and where those packages should be going to, they've reduced that process by an astronomical amount. So that's what artificial intelligence is about. Right? And I'm going to, yeah. So I'm just going to speak to this very briefly, because this is what you're eventually going to start learning when you join the Texas Business School, right? So every time we talk about artificial intelligence, remember it's man-made, created by Emmanuel, for example. I'm just using Emmanuel's name for context, right? And for Emmanuel to build this model, Emmanuel has to first of all teach the machine what to learn. So Emmanuel takes data and provides the machine or the computer program or algorithm in this context, and the machine learns the data that Emmanuel has provided. Now, the question would be, how does the computer learn what information Emmanuel has fed to it? The computer uses an algorithm called deep learning, or a method called deep learning. Now, deep learning is basically an AI approach that thinks like the human brain. Now, I don't know if there's anyone here who's following what is happening in the news, and you can throw your questions in the Q&A or chat section. If you have any questions or there's something that I've said that you are not clear about, just throw in your questions, and I would eagerly answer the questions maybe as we go on or when we get to the Q&A session. Now, deep learning is built out of a technology called neural networks, right? If there's anyone who's following the news, you would recognize that Dr. Geoffrey Hinton of the University of Toronto was given a Nobel Prize for the work that he did in neural networks. Now, they basically said, if we build a computer that thinks like a human being, that has multiple layers, right? That computer would be able to pass that data through multiple layers. And when it's passing the data through those layers, it becomes intelligent to know, okay, this is not correct, this is the truth, this is not the truth, this is valid data. And so artificial intelligence is a subset of the following: machine learning, teaching the machine to learn; deep learning, getting the computer algorithm to think like a human. And it is a combination of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning that created, as well as natural language processing, and I'm going to speak about natural language processing. It's basically an AI that understands language. So it's a fusion of man-made intelligence systems, which teaches the machine to learn using the human brain and understanding language to build what we call ChatGPT, or if you prefer to call it large language models. So the question anyone in here should be asking today is, I want to get into a career in AI. How do I build the next LLM, the next ChatGPT? How do I build the next conversational AI? Now, when I say conversational AI, basically I'm speaking to a man-made intelligence system that understands what I say and can speak back to me. And that's what we see Siri and Alexa do today. So this in a nutshell is what artificial intelligence is all about. So if you came into the session and AI was looking like a blur, I hope that I've made you to come to a point where you're able to understand it. Now I'm going to speak to the career progression. Now, doesn't mean that you must get skills for all of this, right? What I basically just did was I just tried to show the career progression that you can undertake if you get on this AI journey. So if you choose to go on the machine learning engineer side of things, you can start out as a machine learning engineer, and then you can become a machine learning manager, or you can go into research, right? But you will see that some of the roles blow into AI research, right? Like, I'll give you an instance. I started my career as a data expert. I got into data sciences, right? But over time, I went into academia. I started teaching, and I became an AI ethics consultant. I do a lot of ethics consulting for financial services organizations and the government in this part of the world, yeah. And I still build natural language processing models as well as machine learning models. So it really doesn't matter what area of your career you want to get into, right? What matters is how you continue to progress in the industry, because the AI industry is not static. We keep advancing, and that's what's going to lead me to speak to career paths in AI. When you get into the field of AI, you would have the option of either going into engineering or maybe a research. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those pathways, right? The only thing I would say is you can't become an AI engineer or a machine learning engineer, if you pardon me to go back here, without investing in research. I'll give you an instance. This is the month of October. I have studied about 10 research papers to be able to file a patent that I'm currently working on, right? So there's no blur between being an engineer and being a researcher. And I'll speak to this further. An AI research scientist focuses on advancing the field of AI. So you see that everybody does that. So if you get into the field of AI today, you have become an AI researcher. Whether you like it or not, you have to wear the cloak of AI research fellow. Yeah. So you keep researching. One of the requirements is a doctoral degree in computer science or a related field. I have a doctorate degree in business. I am currently still in class doing a doctoral program in artificial intelligence. And I'm also doing a postdoc in generative AI. So you never stop researching. Now, but you keep building machine learning models. So machine learning engineers, that skill set never goes away, right? But you need to attain some programming skill sets. We'll speak to that as I go on. Now, remember, when I was giving the illustration about how AI works, I said you would analyze, you take data and throw into a machine that learns, right? Now, the role of the data scientist is to make sure that the data that is being thrown into the AI model is intelligent, is smart, and is able to give the computer the right set of data. Now, imagine that we throw in the wrong set of data into ChatGPT. What do you think will happen? ChatGPT will give us the wrong set of answers. Like the computer terminology says, you throw in garbage, you get garbage out. And that's the role that an AI ethics specialist undertakes. Like you would design the AI systems to make sure that it doesn't say the wrong set of things. That's the role of an AI ethics specialist. So these are career paths you can embark upon. Remember, we talked about you will constantly be in research. You would either be a machine learning engineer or you'll be a data scientist, right? But after you've built that model, you can keep checking to be sure that the model is saying the right things, right? You can also keep building models that do language translation. Like ChatGPT will be meaningless if it only gives responses in the English language. And so an NLP engineer ensures that ChatGPT and all the LLMs out there can respond to any language based on the questions that's been asked. Now, I'm sure that some people in the room are wondering, is everything about AI going to be technical programming? No, it's not. AI is also treated as a product. And so we're going to need people who are AI product managers, who their goal is to develop the vision and the roadmap for how AI would work in today's world. And so there is a career path for those who aren't programming specialists, but want to understand how AI works in the workplace. Now, someone's probably thinking, okay, I spend time, I take out hours of time, I put in my resources and my energy, and then embark on this AI courses. What happens next? These are the kind of companies that will hire you for the skill set you've gotten. Google, because they're investing heavily in AI. Microsoft, because they're bringing AI to the cloud and they are ensuring that every Microsoft product from Word, PowerPoint, Excel is beginning to use AI. OpenAI, which developed the model that we talk about, ChatGPT, and is still developing advanced artificial general intelligence programs. Just for context, artificial general intelligence is still far off, but it's in the future where you don't even need to ask the AI questions. The AI is intelligent enough to give you answers even before you ask questions. We're not there yet, but work is starting around that. And then, of course, healthcare. Hospitals are now beginning to recognize the fact that there is a need to use AI to analyze medical information. And so, I think it was 2 years ago, I'm not sure now, I was working on a collaborative project with Google, where they were taking chest x-rays, right? Passing it through a machine learning model, a classification model to tell through chest x-ray scans, people who had tuberculosis. So these are some of the things that AI is doing and changing things. Now, let us speak to, so I've spoken a lot about what AI has been doing. Let us speak to skill sets that you must have as an AI professional. And I would say that the first and one of the most important skill sets is programming. You must have a knowledge of Python. It's very crucial for you to build AI algorithms. The next important one is to understand machine learning algorithms, neural networks, which is deep learning. So from a scale of, if I were to plot a graph of, let's say, skills and time, first set of skills you should learn first is Python. Because if you don't know Python, everything falls apart, right? So knowledge of Python, there are other languages that exist. There's Python, there's Julia, there's, but I'll stick with Python. Python is like the common, if you go out there to the internet and you're looking for most AI and machine learning codes, you will probably find that 90% of them is written in Python. Very few are written in Julia, MATLAB, very few, maybe like 2 to 10%. So Python is it for everyone. Then after you've developed your knowledge of Python, then you need to now develop your knowledge of machine learning. Now, if we take machine learning and split it into the main components, we'll be talking about supervised learning, where you train the AI by feeding it with data. You see why it's important to be a data scientist? Because the data scientist gives us the data that we feed the AI model, right? And then we talk about unsupervised learning, where the AI learns the data itself without you feeding the data into the AI, right? And then there's the option of reinforcement learning, where the AI is punished when it makes a mistake. And based on the mistake that the AI makes and learns from, they correct themselves until they become more intelligent, right? So programming first, machine learning next, then the tools. Because if you go and start learning an AI tool today and you don't have a knowledge of Python, when your tools throw up an error, you probably don't know how to go fix it in the back end. And so you need to also understand tools and frameworks. There are a lot of tools and frameworks out there. There's TensorFlow, there's PyTorch, there's Scikit-learn, right? The list is endless, but I just thought to just list only the top 3. And then, of course, while you're doing all of this, it's also important for you to understand data structures, how data is stored in a database, how to use the data. So those are the most important, I'll call them hard skills. Now, let's speak to the soft skills. Soft skills are very important because you cannot call yourself a technology expert or an AI professional without being able to communicate what you're trying to do. Now, this is very critical. I've been on projects where engineers are trying to communicate to the business, but they're not able to come across. Now, it's very important. If you are in this session and you're struggling with your communication skills, you're obviously going to struggle with learning Python and AI, because your ability to understand the Python models is very key when you're working with a team, because you can't be working on a project with a team and you're not communicating what you're doing with the team. You're not reading research papers or arguing with your product managers. It's obviously not possible. And there's no such thing as an AI project that is done in isolation. So AI models are not built by one person. They're built by thousands of people scattered around the globe, all working together to achieve one common goal, which is to deliver a successful product. And your ability to think and solve problems is key. So critical thinking is one skill set that AI cannot take away, because the AI is thinking based on the information that you have given. I mean, you have to be smarter than AI for you to get more value out of it. And you must solve a problem. Recently, I was speaking with a few medical doctors, and the conversation was around, I can speak about it, around trying to understand what causes autism. And every time I speak with the doctors, everyone has an opinion of its own, right? And the conversation led me to ask this key question. Maybe it's high time we build a model, a machine learning model, an AI model that takes all of the data that is out there about autism, throw it into an AI model, and begin to ask AI what truly causes autism. And it's a project, it's ongoing. I'm just sharing this so that anyone who is here starts to think in that line of thought. How can I take a problem that I see every day, put it inside a computer system? Like I gave an example, Emmanuel. Emmanuel takes all his data, throws it into a machine. The machine learns the data that is provided, Emmanuel has provided, and is able to then give Emmanuel excellent answers. Now, what skill sets do you need to have a flourishing career in AI? I would say it really doesn't matter. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I didn't have a bachelor's in computer science. I had a bachelor's in geography, but I had an inroads into GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and that took me into the world of data, right? And in the past 10, 15 years, I worked with data before I then switched into the field of AI. So it really doesn't matter what industry you're in. Even if you're coming from a strong business background, everyone is relevant in the field of AI. Even if you are an expert in statistics, or banking or finance, you can still succeed and build a flourishing career in AI. You just need to know how to take the first step and the best step. Now, how do you build that foundation? But if you are going to go into artificial intelligence as a developer, as an engineer, you have to have a good knowledge of maths. Calculus, linear algebra, probability, and statistics are your first starting points. I had to go back to do a few courses on calculus, on algebra. I had to find X. That's the important thing about algebra. Probability and statistics are also important because even finance and banking are based on scenarios that are dependent on probability and statistics. You need to have an understanding of programming. For understanding of programming, learning Python actually helps you to fix the challenge with 2 and 3. So I would say focus on being proficient on Python. R is also a language that is used for data and AI development, but there's not a lot of development out there. So I'll just say focus on R, understand Python, know your basic maths, particularly calculus, algebra, probability, and statistics, and you're ready to go. Then you then begin the next and the most important thing, gaining experience. You begin to work on projects. I would typically say at this point, you're already with us at Texas Business School, because the model that Texas Business School runs is you will do a lot of hands-on projects. Your coursework will be highly embellished with a lot of projects that will make you write codes, right? And then hopefully after the program, you will be able to work on some action projects. So you intern with some organizations. I typically have a couple of projects that I work on with clients. And if I get AI engineers that are intelligent and are willing to give it a shot, I'm willing to get them on board to drive those projects, right? And so you can get in with an entry-level position and then grow from there. Now, you would not stop there. I always say this, AI and machine learning and deep learning and generative AI is a lifelong learning industry. So if you are here and you're listening and you just think, oh, I'll just come in, do the course for 16 weeks and then I'll be fine, I'll be able to get a job and I'll just move on my life. Think again, because you're going to have to attend conferences every year. This year, I think I've been in about 4 to 6 conferences this year alone. I'm in various AI communities. Matter of fact, I'm a member of a lot of organizations. There's this organization called AI Governance Practice. I'm a member of the AI Governance Practice because that's my area of strength, AI ethics. I'm also a certified AI scientist. There's an organization in the US called Certified AI Scientist. And then there's another organization that I'm a certified AI engineer with. So you keep learning. You have to join communities, you have to join forums, and you would have to seek mentors. Can I tell you honestly, I have a mentor. I have people I still reach out to. I also have mentees who also ask me questions every day. I'm a member of a group. We call ourselves the AI Alignment Group. It's a group where all we do is talk about how to make sure that AI stays in line. That's why the group is called an AI Alignment Group. And we usually have conferences, we have workshops, webinars, discussions. And sometimes people reach out and say, oh, I need someone who's an AI ethicist to come look at the model that I'm building to see if we're doing things right. So you have to seek guidance. I already said this before. Starting a career in AI begins you a work in research, in remaining a lifelong learner. I'm a lifelong learner. I can say this, I'm 44 right now. I've got 3 master's degree. I'm currently doing the 4th one, right? I'm currently in the middle of 2 doctoral thesis defense, right? And I've not still stopped learning. So this is a field that is a lifelong learning career path. If you are the type of person who just wants to do a 16-week course and then pack the course materials and then trash them, this is not an industry for you. It's an industry where you will keep learning. And that brings us to the challenges that are in the field of AI. What are those challenges? It's a steep learning curve. You learn, I still remember when I learned pandas. It was maybe some 5-6 years ago. Now there's pandas 2.0. so if I sit on my high horse and say, oh, I'm okay with what I know about pandas, any code I write today that is not pandas 2.0 friendly would fail. Now, writing the code isn't the problem. If it's being used in the outside world, it will create problems for my customers. And so AI has a steep learning curve. You have to keep learning. You must never stop learning. Secondly, AI has to be built with accountability, with fairness and bias. I just came out of an AI ethics webinar where we're talking about how to ensure that you build models that are ethically sound. In the past, there were some AI models that were built that don't recognize people with our kind of skin color. But it's changing now. So AI has to be ethical. And then, of course, I already said this, you must keep learning and adapting. What are the emerging trends in AI today? Generative AI is the number one. Everyone is talking about ChatGPT. Everyone is talking about Google Gemini. Everyone is talking about cloud AI. That concept or that whole technology, remember, I defined artificial intelligence. I said man-made intelligence, right? Which is made or created by feeding data into the AI, right? However, generative AI brings a twist. It is still man-made. You are still throwing in data into it to make it intelligent, but the system generates data based on the existing data that it has. So if there's anyone here who's been trying to understand what ChatGPT does in a very less technical term, what ChatGPT is doing is it's an AI system. Emmanuel built ChatGPT. For example, Emmanuel, he took data that is sitting on maybe Wikipedia, maybe various data sources around the internet, put it into his chat. Let me not call it ChatGPT so I don't get sued. But Emmanuel puts data into his ChatBGT, right? Let's just rename it ChatBGT. And so let me look for another name that is in the guest list. Courage. When Courage says, I want to create a content, I want to write an essay titled, where is AI taking us to in the future? Courage asks ChatGPT or ChatBGT, which Emmanuel has created. And ChatGPT looks for an article someone's written 2 years ago about where AI is today, but then generates a new article that tries to answer Courage's question. That's what generative AI is today. It just generates new set of data or new set of content or new set of design based on the information or data that you have fed into the system. Now, should we worry about ethics? Yes, we should, because we do not want a situation where we ask Emmanuel's ChatBGT a simple question like, give me a recipe to cook egusi soup. And then instead of giving me a recipe that makes egusi soup, Emmanuel's model gives me a recipe that teaches me to cook banga soup. Completely different model, or completely error. It creates an error situation. So that's where ethics comes in, right? I'm just trying to use scenarios that we can resonate with. And then the last thing is edge computing. This is becoming very, very crucial because as at the last 2 or 3 months, one of the things that I've been testing with some clients is ability to download a large language model like ChatGPT from the internet into a laptop and use it locally. So that is already happening today. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw an article where Today, you don't need to download the AI model to your laptop. You can just run a command on Hugging Face. Hugging Face is the hub where all AI models are kept, and you can use the AI model without downloading it. So in the future, people will no longer be afraid of putting their data on ChatGPT, right? The reason is because you can run an AI model locally on your laptop and get the information that you need. So those are the trends that are coming. And this tells me that we still need more engineers in the industry. So just for those who think that AI is taking all the jobs away, it's not true. AI isn't taking the jobs away, it's creating more jobs. But the question is, do you have the skill set to be able to take those jobs that are coming? Oh, okay, I see that charts and questions are coming now. Let me see if this question. Oh, okay. So I'm going to try to wrap up now because I'm just speaking about successful careers. So these are, I have two profiles here of people, individuals that have been successful in the field of AI. And this is Andrew Ng. He's the co-founder of Coursera, and he used to be the head of Google Brain. He's a Stanford professor. And he's the brain behind Google Brain. I'm just going to skip through this because I've been told that I'm running out of time. Second person is Feifei Li. Feifei Li is also a Stanford professor. She's been called the grandmother of AI. And she created a AI model called the ImageNet Creator. It's an an AI model that can analyze data and has revolutionized computer vision. So I'm just going to skip through this. We're getting to the conclusion, and if you have your questions, you can start gathering them. So in conclusion, to embark on your AI adventure, you just need to recognize three things. One is AI can accept anyone from any field. It doesn't matter what you studied. And AI is an industry that supports lifelong learners. If you're a lifelong learner, you're not someone who studies today and stops tomorrow. AI is your right field. And then if you want to get into a career that is going to impact the world because you're solving real world problems, then you want to embark on AI. How do you begin? Join us, Texas Business School. We'll start by teaching you the fundamentals of maths, stats, and computer science. We'll develop your technical skills. We'll help you gain practical experience, and you can go from there by connecting and building your network. So I already told you about the various roles. I would recommend that you start today. And if there are any questions, please ask questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mike. That was a very impactful session we just had. And I, for one, have learned a lot. I hope everyone has to. For the questions, please do well to write them down so you could present them at the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's introduce our next guest speaker. A seasoned SAP program manager with over 15 years in digital transformation and SAP solutions, with expertise across SAP S/4HANA, logistics, finance, and HR, he has a passion for leading teams through complex projects and driving impactful change. His journey from network engineering to managing SAP implementations for top consulting firms brings a wealth of knowledge and inspiration. Let us welcome Mr. Lucky Eyo, who will be joining us live from Houston, Texas.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Mike, for the presentation. I would be very, very quick in my presentation so that if there are questions, we just want to put this within some 10, 15 minutes and then I'll be done. Yes, let me just go straight to encourage us actually giving some brief about my background. And so I just want to talk, why would you consider Texas Business School in your AI journey? that is what I want to talk about. Dr. Mike has actually said a lot about AI itself, and it's good for everyone to understand that when they talk about the basics of AI, and they talk about statistics, math, and others, some people get afraid or feel, oh, am I going to get into calculus and all the rest? I mean, statistics is basically finding the average of numbers. I mean, statistics is what we use in our everyday life to talk about probability of certain things happening. So they are not complex things to know. And if I would say in most cases, you already have some of those prerequisite knowledge. And it's just to dive into AI. So what's unique about us at Texas Business School? That's what I want to talk about. So here at TBS, we are committed. We are a community of innovative thinkers. We collaborate with leaders, and we have passion to advance professional education, especially as it concerns a lot of immigrants in the US and across the globe. And that's one of the things, because one of the things we've also discovered is there have been challenges with people who migrate to some other climes to actually fit in. And that's one of the things we're doing. So we want to see how we can advance professional education for as many who are coming. And what's our authorization? We are based in Houston, Texas. We are licensed with the Texas Workforce Commission. The Texas Workforce Commission is a commission that regulates any form of education in Texas. And we are actually at that concluding stage with the Texas Workforce Commission. We're also accrediting with the US Department of Education to be in the database of approved post-secondary education. Because one of our aims is we don't offer degrees, but in less than 2 years, we shall be having the authorization to offer master's degree in different areas. And when I mean master's degree, I'm talking about accredited by the US Department of Education, and those are all under this. Our faculties, why Texas Business School? Our faculties are practicing professionals in respective fields. Dr. Mike is one of our advisory board members who just spoke. And I mean, he has a lot. So I'll leave that. Dr. Mike has been with lots of companies, and I think a lot of big names, including IBM, for several years. So we have other persons who work with the likes of KPMG, Deloitte, Bank of America, Accenture, and all the rest. So they are board members who are going to be helping, mentoring people, and also in our internship program. So you're sure that you are getting the right faculties or instructors or lecturers that will take those courses as it concerns the field. Our faculties and support staff are sensitive to the diversity of our students, and that's what we're talking about: language, accent, and culture. Sometimes one of the challenges that a lot of people have had, especially when it concerns Africans who are here in North America, is trying to understand. You find you have more people from Asia who have some bit of skill set. And so when we go to such trainings, you find that there are a lot of, Dr. Mike used an illustration, for example. He used the word egusi soup, for example. Now, for somebody who is here in the US, and then that illustration comes and says, let's say you go to Chipotle and you want to eat, and you're just beginning to wonder, what's Chipotle? And he was just trying to say, maybe you go to, for somebody who is in Nigeria like myself, it would be better if you say you go to Chicken Republic. Now you can relate. So sometimes people have actually found gaps in learning because the person who is taking the training is far from your background, your culture, and sometimes in words. Sometimes when I discuss, I've attended training from people who are who are from some other regions, and we find out that this language have always been a barrier. For example, I am currently researching with That should be Brianna. I'm currently in a research in a course at MIT. We are doing AI and healthcare. And I think for people who are going to be enrolled in the AI program, there are a lot that you are going to be learning. Dr. Mike is in a lot of that. And you know, wonderfully, I've not had backgrounds in most of this. I don't have background in programming. And I began to understand that, oh, they just want me to understand the Python line. I am not a programmer. I'm going to be an AI specialist in healthcare and also in supply chain. But however, I know a little of Python today. I don't want to program in Python. But however, when I see the lines, I can understand what it is and I can pass it on to the Python expert because I can understand, I can see certain things in the line, but I may not have the perfect expertise to do that. So we understand these diversities, and so it's hands-on learning from around with what you are going to be taking with Texas Business School, because our aim is to make sure that people who take these courses are functional, who can get in. And so we have case studies, projects, presentations, and internships. So we have the right faculties here at TBS, and that's one of the reasons why you can choose us or tell your friends to say why they would choose Texas Business School for AI. If you're on the internet today, you see that everything about the internet is about AI. AI and this, AI and that, AI, because we cannot exist without AI, just like Dr. Mike has said. And so also one of the things we have at Texas Business School is an advisory board. Our advisory board, like Dr. Mike, I told you, is one of our advisory board. They are seasoned accomplished professionals across the globe. We have a number of them. Time we actually filmed. I wanted to bring a list of people. I have people like Dr. Mike, or I have people like Tom Kras. Tom Kras is a German, and he's a copyright specialist. It's in the area of cybersecurity, which is one of the courses we also offer. And there are some things that he may also come in to take in the AI class. Tom is a senior data protection consultant with Hugo Boss. Hugo, the normal designer. I also have Choma. Choma is a consultant with Infosys. I have Wally. Wally is a senior cybersecurity expert with Bank of America. When you go to our website, you see a lot of these advisory members. I have Dr. Chinibu. I also have some HR experts in the area that we're doing experts. So we have a number of them. You can go to our website and you can see that there are professionals who can guide you through that career that you're actually hoping for. Because what we're trying to do is to collaborate. That's what the 21st century and this time is all about. We also have mentorship from our advisory board members. Like Dr. Mike has said, he has a lot of projects he's doing with different institutions. Like myself, I told you, I already have a project with MIT. And so I'm already there, and I'm going to be there for the next 6 months. It's a course, and we're doing that together. It's also in AI. And you can imagine where you find where treatment of AI can go to the extent of, I mean, one of the case studies we have was having some kind of capsules. So rather than perform operations on people, and that's one of the case studies we're studying, he discovered it, and that's Brian in MIT. You can take some kind of capsules, it goes into your system and can go into the intestine with AI and locate the exact spot which they should have actually carried out some kind of operations, and with some kind of visuals, it does whatever it's supposed to do. And then when it finishes its job, it goes through the digestive system, and then you can pass it out. But it treats without necessarily opening people up. That's what's happening. And you don't need just health professionals to do that. You need business people like yourself, you need IT people, you need HR people, you need people who read English, because communication from our regular languages to IT will come in. So many things. Our advisory board members are spread around, and they are going to be doing a lot. I have Victor is in Denmark. I have Lawrence is in Dublin, Ireland. Nonto is in the UK. So they are spread around, and the few Kingsley is in Lagos, and a few people. Dr. Mike has just spoke from Canada, just like we have. We also have Ati is in Canada, and Shola also is in Canada. Now you can go to our website and see more of these people, and they will be, some of them are going to be interfacing, they are advising, and that they are also part of, some of them are part of lecturer. Now we have an active career and student service. So career and student services. So career services, what do we do here? Resume assistance. You don't need to come, you didn't come to this course just for knowledge purpose. But however, just like Dr. Michael said, lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is not about going always to school. There are lots of things you can read on your own. And that's one thing that's really interesting that you can do. So in career services, we assist in that resume so that we can paint you in the AI line. Excuse me, AI is just everything about today. Now, because AI is one of the areas that you have lots of remote jobs available. Why? Because you don't need to be there. And the skills are highly in shortage. Because it's something that is coming up. It's something we are going to live with. Whether you like it or you don't. It's the career for 2025. That's what I would say. And so we are going to do a resume assistant. Job boards. What are the job opportunities that are available? We at Texas Business School, that the career service team, which I personally is one of, will make sure that jobs that relate to the skill that you've learned in AI are readily available for you. And then we can have recommendations and references from TBS board members. Like, imagine someone like Dr. Mike or myself giving a recommendation to you for whatever reason that you need it, and it's AI. Imagine referencing some things that we do at TBS. Go to our blogs. We have a lot of materials, things are being posted. And so we are going to do that. That's how we support your career here at TBS. And student service, while your classes are on, we have support. Now we have quality control and regular feedbacks for students. Now you are in class and you may not be getting value. And that's why if you're not getting value at the beginning of the class, or possibly this class is not meant for you, we do a full refund without having you, without explanations. The reason is because maybe it's not suitable at the beginning of the program. So the student service team ensure that there's quality. So sometimes you see somebody who is not part of your class walking into your class. Of course, this is online because our classes are real time. Our classes are not pre-recorded. Our classes are not self-paced. Our classes are real time, which means you spend 1 hour of your time to learn. Maybe the other time you could do some other thing. However, those recordings are available for you to learn at your time. Now, why we have done and made this to be a live session is just because we want you to interact. It has to be interactive, where you can get the exact purpose for which it is done. And our fees are competitive. Now, a similar course you take in MIT, like I am doing for about 6,000, you are going to get from TBS for less. And that less, what does that mean? Now we are at the same level as you have MIT, just that MIT is number 1. We are at number 700 or maybe 100, but we are actually licensed. We are also accredited at the level that they are. And for some persons who will be starting certain programs in some 2 years time, master's program is going to be starting sometime next year. And then people will have